Hi everyone, this is Cherry Enchantress with Pixie Dust Tarot, and this is your daily dust for May 23rd, Tuesday, May 23rd, if you're watching in real time, but it can also be for whenever you stumble upon it. It's also a timeless reading. However, in real time, it is my sister and her husband's anniversary, so happy anniversary to my beautiful redhead sister who, this is like them, totally. And I think she even had this image for a while on the wall. She really likes Klimt. So I decided I'll use the Klimt Tarot for her. So this is going to be a tricky deck because there's a lot of nudity, so I'm going to have to maybe work around some of the images. Hopefully I won't have to, but we'll see what goes on with this deck. Anyway, for my sister Julie. So I usually like to pick a different tarot deck every day, and sometimes I have to repeat, and sometimes I go to oracle decks. But look at this deck. This is so amazing, so beautiful. I'll just show you a few. All right, let's get to shuffling and see what comes out. The main reason why I have to be careful of nudity is because the cards that come out end up being my thumbnail. That's the only main reason, unless it's just not monetized, which I can do that for one day, I suppose. All right. These cards have been, because of the box, they have been bent the other direction, so like I like to try to stretch it back into shape. Okay, it's a Los Scarabeo deck. Really nicely done though. And comes with this nice little booklet too. All right, let's take from the, we have, ooh, the Four of Pentacles. She has a funny face. Nice, the Eight of Cups or chalices. Ooh, and the Seven of Swords. Okay, interesting. Let's zoom one in and see what we get. So the Four of Pentacles, the first thing I heard was pinching pennies, but I feel like this one's more of a positive Four of Pentacles. Sometimes it has to do with savings and putting your money in the right place, like a positive investment. It's profitable. So I think you're going to be doubling your money or yeah, maybe more than that, at least doubling your money in some place that you're putting it. It also is about meeting up with people who are going to be helpful in money situations, and definitely continued savings. So this is just really funny because I'm about to look into this commercial that I saw, and I generally just don't trust most commercials, but it's a very interesting, very tempting idea. The concept has to do with putting your money in this particular savings account that gives you lottery tickets, and so it seems to be a win-win situation, but it's something that I definitely will look into way more before I actually try it. But things like that could be popping up for you, something that seems possible, a possible alternative way of savings, or some kind of interesting investment or something like that that will eventually yield something. But then with the Eight of Cups, I'm feeling like you may be walking away from an idea that seems profitable, seems good, it seems wise. Maybe you're just ready to move into a different direction, because the eight is also, it does help you evaluate things, this energy here, and it is about seeing the decent aspect of it. So in fact, I feel like we have something that's decent and something that's indecent. So what was the Sacred and profane is what I'm hearing. The sacred and profane. Sometimes in some situations you deal with those two kinds of energies, the sacred and profane. And sometimes you have to decide for yourself, what are you dealing with? Something sacred, something good, something real, or something made up, something deceptive, something that's leading you astray. This is a pretty way of leading you astray, right? But and oh look, all three of these cards in this deck actually have very nice meanings to them. Well, I haven't got to the Seven of Swords yet, but the Eight of Cups sometimes seems melancholy, this walking away, but this one's not. This one's not melancholy. This is just a good evaluation, basically. She's not moving anywhere. She's just kind of thinking things over. And I think that's good. It's a good place to be. But it's also about the morals of a situation and decency. So that's why I get this sacred and profane energy here. So in this deck, Seven of Swords is a little less about deceit and deception and stealing things, and it's a little bit more of a revelation. So as you sit in a situation and you don't go anywhere, like if you don't run away from a situation, if you just face it and in a nice calm way, then something may reveal themselves to you, or someone may reveal themselves to you. Otherwise, if you had left too soon, you wouldn't have known the whole story. So this could be you could be revealing a secret. Somebody could be revealing a secret to you. There could be some kind of interesting discovery here, and then finally having a strong idea about how you want something to go. So being very decisive for how you want something to turn out. So I think in overall this is a very positive energy. It's about investments. It's about really thinking about how it should go, making any decisions with a high moral ethics, and check out the other, any dealings with other people. Check out their moral ethics. Be very calm. Like, this is about calm and gracious, and just, I feel like this energy here is going to help you draw out the truth of the matter. So if there's some kind of secret thing involved, if there's anything that you need to know about this situation, it's going to come out. But it's all about the way you approach it. If you approach it in a very confrontational way, then you may not hear it, you may not find out anything. If you approach it where you get triggered and you run away, you might not get the full story. So this is kind of a different approach maybe than you're used to. Maybe it's harder. It reminds me a lot of like watching, like relationship TV shows, like like say for instance The Bachelor or something like that, where there's two people talking about things, and in the moment, as I'm watching, I'm like, I'd be triggered by that, and I'd have to walk away. It would be hard for me just to sit and keep talking. But they must have been counseled or something on how to push through that energy and just use really calm words to keep revealing the truth of each other's feelings. It's very cool, very swords energy, very, where here we have cups and emotion. This is like using practicality, cooling your emotions, and using your mental abilities, your verbal abilities to draw out the information. Sometimes you will have to get up and say, excuse me, I need a moment. But in all times, I feel like whatever you're dealing with, particularly on this day, it's good to just be calm and think before you speak, for sure. Be real present. I was watching Eckhart Tolle, and he was kind of saying something that made me think of that. Like, if you're faced with people or situations that you're having trouble being present, being in the moment, being calm, it's almost like you got to double down on the feeling of being present. Like, it's easy when you're out in nature because nature's beautiful and and it help, you automatically can get in that kind of nice stillness and presence. But when you're with a bunch of people who are saying things that just, you have to kind of double down on on your presence ability. And maybe it's about seeing them as something else, as part of the environment. Just, it's like imagining them as just kind of like a white noise, maybe, or not, or what they're saying has nothing to do or doesn't really affect you. It's just kind of like noise. But within that noise, they start to reveal themselves. And then you're like, oh, maybe some of you are interviewers. This is really interesting, because a really good interviewer has this approach where they don't say too much. They nod and smile, and they listen, and sometimes a person will reveal way more than they intended to reveal by just that simple approach. If you're asking too much and too quickly, then sometimes it loses you lose this ability to draw out something. So it's kind of interesting. It depends on what you have planned for today. If it's just kind of a nice mundane day where nothing too drastic is happening, I think your environment is going to be nice and pleasant. I think that you'll be in a generally calm, pleasant mood, and just do your best to keep it, because it's really going to serve you well if you do. Let's say if you go to a restaurant or something, and it's noisy, and maybe the waiter or whatever, the server is not quite as attentive as you wanted. Like, there's things that you could nitpick on, right? You could pick on everything you wanted, or you could like sit back and smile and think, wow, this is a special occasion. I'm having dinner with this person, and look at the hustle and bustle, and wonder what's happened in these people's lives. And it's like, if you just kind of zoom out a little bit, and don't make it about don't make it about you, as in everybody's out to get me, or this situation is turning out bad because of these people. Make it as, we're all in this together, and we're like in this bubble, in this world, and I'm going to make it pleasant, even if everybody else is kind of doing crazy stuff. It's something like that. So that's another way to interpret this, and another way to use this for your advantage on this particular day. But definitely consider some investments today, and yes, really thoroughly listen and investigate things, and you'll find out more than you expected to. I hope you like that. Faith, trust, the pixie dust.